Lately, I've been getting a lot of people asking me questions about sheriff sales in Chester County, and primarily because I deal with a lot of people whose names are either on the list or investors who are looking for deals. So, I wanted to give a brief overview of how sheriff sales work, and if your name's on the list, that all hope isn't lost. There's a couple things you can do to avoid that sheriff sale, or if you're not in a position where you can avoid it, what you can expect in the immediate future after the sale is conducted. So, in Chester County, the sheriff's sale is always conducted on the third Thursday of every month. This is October, so that third Thursday is tomorrow. Every month it's at 11 o'clock in the Justice Center over on Market Street. If you're not sure where it's going to be within the building, because the room changes every month, you just go over to the sheriff's department and they'll direct you to where it's at. There is no sale in December this year, however. The property is always sold to the highest bidder, and it's an auction scenario. Your biggest competition is going to be the attorney that the bank has assigned to represent them. There will be some other investors in there, people that are sort of feeling it out and aren't really familiar, maybe a little too scared to make a bid. But the biggest competition you're going to have is the lender, or is the attorney that the lender assigns. And in most cases, they have a cap of what they're going to spend on any given property, so there's still an opportunity for you. They'll try and bully you a little bit on your bids, but don't let them. You know what you can set, you know what you can spend, so just stick to that. And that's how that works. So if you do win the bid, you need to have 10% hand money available ready to go. In other words, a 10% deposit. For instance, if the house that is sold, you win at $100,000, you have to have $10,000 ready to go, usually in a certified check, or that's pretty much it. I don't think they accept cash, and I know they don't accept personal checks, but 10 grand will do it. And then in 21 days, you're going to have to be able to come up with the balance. So in 21 days, if the bid is $100,000, you need to find $90,000, whether it be cash or whether it be a mortgage. You don't have to show proof of the funds at the time of the sale. You don't have to show proof of a mortgage at the time of the sale. But at the end of the 21 days, if you don't have the $90,000, they'll start the foreclosure process on you, and you don't have to have that happen. This month in Chester County, there's 85 homes that are on the docket. Now, this docket was created about 3.5 weeks ago, so all 85 properties won't be sold at this auction or even be bid on at this auction. Reason being is because they either got the bank postponed them, the seller got a loan modification, got a continuance, and some of the properties that are on here were continued from months before. So some of the properties you won't have an opportunity to bid on, but 85 properties is a lot. Over the last year or so, the number has gone down. But typically this time of year, it has a tendency to go up again. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Some people also ask me if you can preview the houses before they go to sale. It's up to the discretion of the homeowner. So if you see a property that's on this docket and you want to take a look at it, you're going to have to knock on the door and ask the homeowner if you can come in and see what they tell you. Otherwise, you can always drive the neighborhood, see the community, and see what the value is and run comps. If you text me or email me and you see a property you like, just tell me the address and I'll shoot you out a competitive market analysis so you get an idea of what properties are actually worth in the neighborhood. Because prior to bidding, obviously you want to do your due diligence and find out what property values are doing in the area. Now, if you're a homeowner and your name is on this list, if your house will be sold if the bank doesn't postpone it. I just want to be absolutely clear about that. The only way your house won't be sold is if the bank postpones this sale. So one of three things is going to happen. You're either going to get it postponed yourself, the bank will see some reason to postpone it, an investor will buy it, or the bank's going to take possession. I tie that into the same reason. Okay, so that's it. At that sheriff's sale, that's pretty much it. Now there is a way that you can have that you can avoid that, and we'll talk about that in a different video because that's a whole other topic altogether. Typically, you'll have up to an hour prior to the sheriff's sale date and time, so 10 o'clock in Chester County, for you to have an opportunity to satisfy that. So the bank needs to communicate to the attorney, which in turn needs to communicate to the district court that the debt's been satisfied or that has been continued in order for that sale on your home to not take place. If the property isn't sold to an investor, the bank will take possession of the property. Okay, if an investor buys it, it's going to take about 45 days for the deed to transfer from your name into the investor's name. At that point, it's going to be at the discretion of the investor to evict you. So you're going to have about 6 weeks maybe to get your stuff and to get out. Otherwise, the investor is just going to have the sheriff remove you. if the bank takes possession, you'll have a little bit more time. Typically, you'll have a little bit more time, could be 3 to 4 months. However, I have heard circumstances of people that get evicted immediately once the bank takes possession. And again, if you think you're going to stay in there and squat for a long time, the sheriff's going to have another thing to tell you. So once the home is sold, you have no more rights after that deed is transferred, and that's why they're so strict about it. So overall, that's how a sheriff sale works if you're an investor or a buyer or if you're a homeowner. There's a lot more to know than this, obviously. So if you have any questions, you can always call or text me, 484-319-0223. I'll answer any questions that you have to the best of my ability. I don't know absolutely everything, but if I don't have the answer, I'll get one for you. If you want to go to a sale with somebody, just give me a call. I'll go with you. If your house is on this list and you're not really sure what to do, look at it this way. You have 30 days between now and this date, or 3.5 weeks, if your name shows up on that list until it's sold at auction. And one way or another, you're not going to have possession of your house. But there are ways to avoid that. Call me and I'll educate you on what you can do. You can do a loan modification, maybe you can do a short sale or a deed in lieu. There's a few different things you can do. Okay, so all hope isn't lost. Just to give you an idea, I was looking through this list in October. I saw the name of a guy. I gave him a call. He told me that he'd do whatever it took to get it done. He was really, really compliant with me. He got me all the documentation, all the information I needed. I submitted it over to the bank 48 hours ago, and we got it postponed until January 20th. So he's going to have holidays with his family. He's going to get his house sold. It's a win-win for everybody. So all hope isn't lost when you see your name on this docket, or when you start getting knocks on the door from the sheriff. The most important thing is that you take immediate and diligent action. You cannot pretend that nothing's going to happen, or it'll take care of itself, or the bank is going to communicate with you effectively, because they won't. You have to have somebody working on your behalf in order to get these things done right. There's millions of people that are in the same scenario. The only thing you can do is research all the options that you have at your disposal, have a plan A and a plan B, or maybe a plan C, and then everything that you need to do in order to execute those plans, you have to do it efficiently and effectively every day. There can't be any slip-ups, or you're going to be out in the cold. And it doesn't have to be that way if you take the proper steps up front and consistently. So give me a call, 484-319-0223, or text me. We'll talk a little bit more about short sales.